Good morning. Welcome to Military Hour, and we want to welcome Leslie Brown returning, and she is the Public Affairs Officer at the Navy base, correct?
That's right. That's right.
Good to see you again.
Thank you. I've been there about a year now. Enjoying it. I came from the Air Force side of the house, so I'm still learning some of the Navy lingo, but it's a great place to be.
Navy lingo, is that always like
Bubbles?
Just checking.
They use a lot of different words than we use in the Air Force.
Yeah, everybody has their own little vernacular and nomenclature, so yeah. Once you get them and the acronyms, you're good to go.
That's right. We do that to confuse the enemy.
Of course, yeah. All war is based in deceit, right?
No, public affairs never get involved in that.
Yeah, okay, good. So you get the information out, and you're going to share information with us this morning that I'm excited to hear about because you got a lot going on.
We do have a lot going on. You know, this year's the 70th anniversary of the Warfare Center on the base, and so they've had a lot of events going on, and we've got a lot of big changes coming up as well. The commander of our dive school is going to be leaving next month, Commander Hung Kao. He's going to be moving on, and so we're going to have his change of command. We're going to be sad to see him go, but we have other events. We have on the 30th of June, we're going to have our annual 4th of July celebration. We're doing it a few days ahead of everybody else, so if anybody wants to watch, from afar, they can see our fireworks and enjoy them as well.
So can they watch from the ocean and the land, or is there the proximity for that?
They can. Of course, we have a 100-foot barrier around the base just for security reasons. But
littoral, is that come under the littoral?
It's just purely for security, just so people won't come up there and just get confused where they're at, that kind of thing. So
you don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that, but no, we're nice to people, so I don't want anybody to get scared or anything. But
the military is always nice until.
That's right.
Until. So.
But we're going to have our 4th of July celebration the evening of the 30th. If any of your listeners are ID card holders or have a friend that's an ID card holder that can get them on the installation, everybody's welcome with a military ID or retiree ID to come on out and watch it from the installation, or if not, you'll be able to see it from around the area. So
okay, so 30 June, what time?
30 June. Of course, the fireworks won't start until after sundown, but the celebration starts at 6 p.m. We're going to have booths there, food vendors and things for the kids to do. So we're just going to have a nice celebration that's well attended every year and celebrate our nation's birthday.
Well, then I've got a question, because I'm a member of an organization that a lot of people don't know about, never heard about. Would it be possible for our organization to have a small booth for passing out information?
Well, I'll have to talk to our MWR director
Please.
since it's their program, but I'll definitely pass the word and get you an answer.
If it's a possibility, we'd love to give out some info.
That's great, because anything that supports the community is always great, right?
Yeah, it's all about veterans and support and giving back.
Right. So, how have you been? I haven't seen you.
I'm good. Had a little bit of a scare a couple months ago, but all good. Like you, mine came back benign. It was another throat issue, small tumor, but we got it cut out. And I have to give high praise to the choice card, the care thing. It worked. Because it kind of came up, and got an appointment with a civilian doctor, scheduled the surgery like a week and a half later, in, out, done deal.
Great.
So, yeah, I was very happy for that.
Great.
But I've always gotten great care from the VA. We won't talk about the admin side. That's a different deal.
Well, it's nice that we have the VA clinic on the Navy base.
Yeah.
They will be moving in the next few months, probably early next year. They'll possibly open up the new clinic on the south side over on Magnolia Drive. Yep. We'll also be opening a Navy clinic over there as well. So they'll be co-located and
well, that's good.
Right, taking care of the sailors and the veterans. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
So
that's right. That's exactly right. And their families.
Yes. Speaking of their families, April was Military Appreciation, Spouse Appreciation Month, and on the 29th of April, we had not the 29th, I'm sorry, we just had last Friday, Spouse Appreciation Day. My months or weeks are running together. We had Spouse Appreciation Day for all the military spouses to come out. We had Haney Technical Center come out and do free pedicures and manicures and like eyebrow waxing for the
Oh,
for
and I
the
have
spouses.
to ask. Now, spouses cover both genders.
That's
so
right.
do we have any guys out
We
there
did.
getting
We
some
had
pedicures
3
and
guys
stuff?
out there getting manicures and
Really?
taking care of their nails. Yep. Hey,
I'm not
nice
saying I
looking-
wouldn't do it. I never have, but I just somehow I can't. Like, what, you're going to touch my toes? I don't know.
But we had them come out. They had giveaways. People, local businesses donated items for to give away to the spouses for appreciation. They just had to register when they came in. It was great. And so this is an annual event. We've actually had for the last several years held this event, and it's always the Friday before Mother's Day. So, but the guys are still welcome if they're a military spouse.
Well, I've heard that it's good, and and then when you do that thing, you kind of feel a little better. So
You do feel better. You feel better about yourself. You look a little better, because I get bad cuticles, and so they took care of us over there. Because I'm a military spouse. I was in the military, and I'm a military spouse as well.
Right.
So it's nice to be appreciated, and it was a great event. It's put on by our Fleet and Family Support Center, who they worked all year long getting donations and vendors to come out and provide their services. We had some folks come out that sell makeup and facial products, and they came out and did free facials for the spouses. We had a massage therapist come out and give chair massages, 10-minute chair massages, really nice. And
See, I'd be in for that for sure.
And we had a lot of great folks come over just to share information. We had the Bay County Veterans Center there. We had
Matt Standish come out.
Yeah,
Yep.
we had.
What a great guy.
He has a lot of great information too.
You should see his calendar. It's like, I thought mine was crazy. His is
full.
insane. Yeah.
But he came out and shared a lot of great information with the military members and the spouses, because a lot of times the spouses come in to get, to take advantage of what's going on, but the military member will come with them. So just to see what's going on and see how everything, their spouse is getting taken care of. So he was able to share a lot of good information, and we had like child care services with information on base, like the MWR folks. And so it was not only was it to appreciate the spouses, just to let them know that they have help out there, resources for them if they ever encounter something they're not sure how to deal with. This fair really took care of them.
Now we mentioned acronyms and all that for the benefit of our civilian viewers. The couple that do, maybe, I don't know how many, we don't do that, but let them know what the MWR
MWR is our morale, welfare, and recreation
fun stuff
unit, right? Yeah. And they are a totally they're not for profit. But what they do bring in, it's not paid for with taxpayer dollars. It's all non-appropriated funds. So they, like for instance, our cafe on base sells food items for lunch, but the proceeds they make from that goes back toward the base and the members of the base. So that's what MWR is for. They run our base pool, they run our fitness center and things like that. So it's great to have the MWR and the non-appropriated funds people there, because it doesn't cost the taxpayers anything.
Do you hear that?
Yep, no taxpayer dollars, but yet these guys, all their pay, all their equipment, everything is bought with the funds that are generated through the programs that they run on base.
And it's funny you say that, because a lot of what we do in the organization that I'm a member of, the 48, same deal. We generate the funds and it supports our programs. Right. So yeah, will we take a donation? Well, sure we will, but that's not our goal to get donations. We have little items that we proffer for a little bit of money, and that propagates our programs.
Well, like funds. our 4th of July celebration that we're having June 30th, all of the proceeds that we've made throughout the year go to pay for the fireworks and things for this celebration. So if it wasn't for all the folks using these facilities and generating that profit, we wouldn't be able to do this program every year.
Couldn't put the event on or anything. Yeah,
right.
I know how it goes. So.
And last year was my first year there, and just seeing the faces, everybody, the kids just had a really great time at this event, and it's really all about the families and our celebrating our nation's birthday. So
yep, it'll be fun.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to this year. I won't lie. So
Well, we'd certainly like to be able to come out, not just for informational, like I said, but children's events. We do have a child welfare unit, and we've got a little bitty train ride thing that we can transport and take and give the kids rides on a train if we have a little area in a parking lot or whatever to set it up. And the kids love it. And I'm still a kid. I ride it every now and then myself. But, well, I'm a little guy, so, I can get on there. But no, the kids really do love it, and the parents do. And it's just something we do.
Great.
We don't ask for money. It's just, come on.
And
take a ride in a choo-choo.
Military members come in here and move away. They get here and they don't know people, and so it's always great when community organizations support the military, such as organizations like yours. Because they come here, they don't have local families and stuff, so they have to rely on support from the community and organizations. So it's always appreciated.
And my backstory, but that's what kept me here. Because I'd never been here, and when I came and I saw all the proximity of the bases, and everybody I was meeting was a veteran or they were active duty, and I'm like, I'm home. This is where I'm going to spend the rest of my days.
And the community support, even from the people
tremendous.
That have not been in the military. The Chamber of Commerce has a great military affairs committee that I believe nearly 300 members, and they, a lot of them are not prior military, and so they join the organization to learn more about it, because Tyndall and the Navy base here, we're some of the largest economic impact generators in the county,
bar none.
So we realize most of the county is geared toward tourism, but we offer that stable, month in, month out jobs and income for the county. So we just see tremendous support from them, from the Military Affairs Committee. And we have the Bay Defense Alliance that always comes and talks to us about, what could we use to help do our mission better. And so it's always great working with the organizations locally, because they just really support us.
I shudder to think that if any of these bases in the Panhandle area and even South Georgia area, Alabama, if any of them were bracked, what a negative impact it would have on the communities and the families monetarily. It would just
not only monetarily, but really emotionally, because a lot of people, you move into a community as a military member and you meet your neighbors and everything, and you learn from each other. They teach you about the local area, but you teach them about all the places you've been and things, and how life is different in the military.
Sure.
And you may be the only person they ever encounter that knows about the military. So we appreciate our sailors and airmen out
Absolutely.
there, talking and being the communicator, the voice for the military here.
Well, if you haven't been in, you really don't know. And if you have been in, it's going to change you for your entire life, regardless. I have yet to even meet anybody that would say that it didn't change them some way or form. It just does. So
well, I got a funny story to share with you. I grew up in a small town in Illinois, but I lived kind of near Scott Air Force Base. And then just out, in St. Louis, they had Boeing, McDonnell Douglas, then became Boeing, but they built the F-15 in St. Louis. And so I had a good friend whose dad built the F-15, and so she had never been on an Air Force base. And so I thought, well, I was a dependent. I had an ID card. Come on, we'll go down to the base. I'll take you down there. And we drive on to the base, and she was just, her eyes were big, and she's looking around, and she's like, well, where are all the little Gomer Pyle buildings, Where's the little, I'm like, you mean the Quonset huts? And she's like, yeah, I thought, where's all the Jeeps? And where, and so it was really funny, but she goes, this is like a city. This is great. She turned around and joined the Air Force.
Is that right?
Yep.
But her impression was something from a TV show.
It sure was.
From a bygone era. Okay.
Okay, this was the late 80s. So.
Yeah. Well, there again, it's just the experiences that you can share with others that haven't been or don't know. And there, like you said, she decided she was going to go in the military.
She went in. And
good for her.
She went overseas. Her first assignment was in Japan, and she just,
oh, yeah, there's a bad assignment.
Small town Pocahontas, Illinois girl,
Yeah.
just goes out and sees the world. You know, barely had left the state prior to that.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I understand. Well, that's terrific. So tell us what else you got on the horizon that's coming up event-wise. I know you do the Christmas deal.
They always have the Children's Christmas Party every year. That's a nonprofit organization that works on. It's comprised of a bunch of employees of the Warfare Center, but they work on their own time, raising funds to put on a party for 100 of the neediest kids in Bay County.
That's a big, big deal.
It is a big deal, and you just don't really know what some of these kids are lacking until you're actually witness it yourself. A couple of years ago, we had a child that, you know, they put these kits together that has necessities for them, coats, hats, things that they just don't have. And one child in her kit got a toothbrush. And she held that toothbrush up and she was just, I finally don't have to share my toothbrush with my brother. You know, and so you don't realize that something as simple as a toothbrush is, some people just don't have that luxury of getting. And so the Christmas party, not only do they give them a few toys, they give them a lot of necessities. They build kits for these kids to take back and have something of their own.
And that child's never going to forget that.
That's right.
Getting that her own toothbrush.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah.
And we also have next Wednesday, we have Diversity Day. And that's also put on by a private organization on base that works in their off time to put this on. But we celebrated on the base because the DoD is one of the most diverse organizations in the world.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
by necessity.
Right.
It has to be.
And people from all walks of life come and join the military. And so it's great that we can get together and celebrate that diversity. And they'll have people come in and bring their native dishes and perform their native performances or give speeches about their background, things like that. And it's just a really great event. They host it every year, sometimes twice a year, depending on how much interest they have. And it's just a great event to partake in.
And that is good exposure for anyone. Example, let's say I never had Filipino food or whatever, or don't know anything about Filipino people. Well, you get to learn, okay? With me, there's only two kind of people that won't learn. That's a fool and a dead person, okay? Fool just won't and a dead person can't. But tied in with diversity, and there are good and bad in all races. We know that that's a given. But in the military, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist in the military, because it does, but it's very minuscule. And usually those bad actors are weeded out at some point. But you don't see color. You don't see religion. And that is the diversity of the military.
Right.
Because we are one for another and no man or woman left behind. Okay? So you've got differences in your background or your makeup or your beliefs. Okay, we can share them, we can respect them, and we can get along because we're going to be focused on the mission.
That's right. And if you've ever seen military members out in the community, they're all dressed the same. We do that so everybody's, standardized. This sailor is not different from that sailor. And recently they even enacted where the females now wear the Dixie Cup hat.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And they're excited. The female sailors are so excited to be wearing this hat now. So
well, that's cool.
Makes them look just like everybody else. So
yeah, my dad was Navy, and there's too much water in the world for me. So
70%.
Army for me. So love all of you, but yeah, Army.
70% of the world is water, and that's what the Navy's here for: is keep those waterways open so things can move back and forth freely and. We can get those cheap goods from China or the delicious food from Germany or whatever we want to get. So, and that's thanks to the Navy. So,
absolutely. Of course, my dad was a bubblehead. I think all those guys are nuts anyway. In a submarine, not me. So,
there's probably one right out in the bay, and we don't even know it.
Well, I'm sure there is. There's got to be something somewhere. Got to protect the homeland, but. Your job, and you say you've been there for a year. Mm-hmm. Tell everybody about some of your prior, because we know you're a child You're one of the brats, right?
Right, I'm a brat.
They're all brats.
My dad was Coast Guard for 31 years. He retired as a Chief Warrant Officer, 4th class. We retired in the small town of Pocahontas, Illinois, and there's maybe 2 other military families in that entire town. So I didn't really mingle with other military children, and the kids I did hang out with didn't understand what my dad did or that kind of thing. So it was kind of a different environment for me, but I didn't have the luxury, or, well, I don't know if you call it a luxury. All my brothers and sisters moved around all their life. I'm the youngest of 6, and so I got to start school in one school, and I graduated from that school.
So that's unusual.
Yeah, it is. And so, but he retired out of the federal building in St. Louis and turned around and started a civil service job at the Charles Melvin Price Support Center in Granite City. Used to be an old Army base, and he ran a supply warehouse there for the Coast Guard.
Yeah, so, a lot of people don't realize the role that the Coasties play, the Coast Guard. I mean, every branch is 24/7. We know that. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, they are deployed everywhere in the world.
That's right.
All the time.
Right.
Now.
He's had several assignments overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And as a dependent, I was over on Guam and lived over there.
I have good friends from Guam.
In fact, Christmas time was unique because it was summertime, right? And the Santa Claus, he was Guamanian, right?
I got to share something with you real quick.
He'd wear shorts.
Yeah. I have friends from Guam, and I always call them Guamolians. And this one, bless her heart, she says, "We're Guamadians." I said, "Honey, I love you so much. To me, you're a Guamolian. You're special." So, anyway, we do it kiddingly, so.
It was very interesting over there. And then, well, my whole family was Coast Guard. I have a sister who retired from the Coast Guard, a brother-in-law who retired from the Coast Guard. I have a brother that did 4 years earn money for college, and another sister that earned money for school as well in the Coast Guard Reserve. I had one brother join the Army, and then here, the youngest of 6, I go and join the Air Force. So my father was devastated that I joined the Air Force. But I did several years in the Air Force. He came over I was assigned to a little base in southern Italy called San Vito Air Station. And he came over to see me, and he walked into my quarters on base, and he's like, "These are the nicest government quarters I've ever been in." And I said, "Dad, that's why I joined the Air Force." And so he would always give me a bad time about being in the Air Force. I was the only Air Force person he knew, he'd always say. So.
Yeah, and there was another, during World War II, and most people probably don't know this, but the Merchant Marine, had it not been for the Merchant Marine, we probably may not have won World War II, because they were out there transporting not only troops but supplies, and
they had the most deaths per capita compared to the other military branches during that time. And in fact, my father dropped out of school and joined the Merchant Marines.
Is that right?
For a year, because then he could turn around and get in the Coast Guard without
See,
providing a birth certificate or anything.
That's another great story in itself right there. So we'll have to cover that one sometime. But tell us more about what's going on in your world.
Wow. So just living the dream out here at the Navy base. Like I said, we have Diversity Day next week, our 4th of July celebration on the 30th. Yeah. I'm sad to see Commander Cow go on the 17th of June, but I've heard that the incoming commander is just as energetic as he is. And
good.
Yeah, so a lot happening right now. We're going through what's called our Citadel Gale right now, which is a hurricane exercise. We're going to be in the middle of that until the end of next week. But what we do is we practice all our plans as if a hurricane's coming, and we have to either suspend operations or actually close the installation. So we practice all those things. We practice recalls, make sure that we can get in touch with all our sailors, that their families are taken care of, and things like that. Because again, the sailors come in here to do a job, and if we can provide all the support that they need to do their job, take care of their families, they can focus on what they're doing instead of having to worry, is my family going to be taken care of if I have to drive out with this boat or something like that. So this is a good time of year to practice that, because June 1st hurricane season starts, and
Right.
we've been lucky the last 10, 11 years, and I don't know how that luck's gonna hold out, but
Well, I hope it does.
where's the wood?
But you're right. Where the service member doesn't have that in the back of their mind, worrying about the family because the community's there and going to take care of. Now, let me ask you this question. Hypothetically, big hurricane's coming. Let's say it's a Cat 5, really.
We are going to
bad
close
stuff.
that installation if
Right.
it's if we're going to be in some kind of cone of that.
Right.
We're most likely going to close the installation. I will tell you, if the county says we're evacuating, we follow suit and do what the county does.
Right.
We don't go against what they
Yeah,
recommend.
hit the evacuation routes and out. Now, if it's not, now let's say it's a lesser Cat 2 or something like
Well,
that.
we do have-
And the base isn't closing, but there's going to be help needed in the community. Is it only National Guard Army that's going to come out and help, or does the Navy get
We
involved
actually
as well?
keep a stay behind team that works with the Bay County Emergency Operations Center, so we're in constant coordination with them. We have an emergency manager on base that's what she focuses on
Yep.
this time of year, making sure that all the right contacts are there and procedures and everything, and that's what we're doing right now. We're testing those to just make sure that everything goes without a hitch when it really does happen.
See, and to me, that's another feather in the Navy's cap, because they will be here. They will be actively participating to help the community, and I would think that the community at large really doesn't know that. So, another piece of information to get out there.
That is true, and we do a lot of important stuff on the base. So it's imperative that we can keep the base operational as long as possible, and then when we do evacuate, that we can close things down quickly, evacuate quickly, and as soon as the threat has left, we can get the regeneration team in, and reconstitution team is what they call it. Get that team in and get things up and operational, because you pay us to do our job, and the quicker we can do it and the less stall time, things like that, we're saving the taxpayer money that way. And that's important, that we're good stewards of taxpayer dollars, because resources are scarce. People, the taxes that we pay now is, well, we're behind. The debt is enormous, and
we're in the hole.
so anytime, it may seem like just a few $100s, but every little bit counts. That if we can do something a little quicker, a little easier, it's always to the benefit of the taxpayer and keeping America safe.
Absolutely. Don't get frightened, but when we're talking about, we're going to shut the base down, all that, trust me, there will be people there on the base. Not everybody's leaving.
Actually, if it's a Cat 5,
Cat 5, everybody's out.
Unless the experimental dive unit has divers in the saturation tank or something, people can't actually leave. Those would be the only people that stay. That and a core emergency operations center. But we have some low-lying areas on base that we would definitely keep those people out of that area.
Well, yeah.
If it's a lesser hurricane, we're just expecting storm surge, something like that. So we have scalable operations that we can do, and so. But there are times, if it's really bad, like a Katrina or something,
that was a Cat 5 too.
We're gonna be closing everything up.
Yeah,
So
understood. I had that thought a minute ago that went that way, but well, as I get older, sometimes
it happens to me too.
Yeah.
I don't want to admit it, but
but in any event, going back to events, and I hear this so often. There's an event done here twice a year, Warrior Beach Retreat.
right.
And I hear constantly from visitors, people that participate, as we come past the Navy base, lined up at the fences are the troops, male and female, and they are saluting the warriors as they're passing. And I can assure you, there's more than one tough old sailor, soldier, airman that it doesn't bring a tear to their eye, because
I stood on that fence last year. I wasn't able to do it this year because I was TDY, temporary duty, to another installation. But I did it during last fall's event, and it brought a tear to my eye seeing them go past and things. You know, Linda Cope really does a great job putting that event on, and you can tell the support from the community because she gets a lot of things donated and businesses really support that event. Yeah. So,
and rightly so.
Right. You know, if we're going to pay to send our troops to war, we have to pay to support them when they get back. And so this is doing an event like that is, I know the troops appreciate it. And having been in a war zone myself, you know, I was deployed to Afghanistan when I was in the Air Force. So I know coming back and being welcomed and thank you for your service and showing the support. That really means a lot to people. So, you know.
Well, we have a saying too, never again. We're not going to let another generation be treated like we were treated when we came back.
I have several family members that were in during that time. And so, I was really glad to see the support during Desert Shield Desert Storm, and then to see that continued after 9/11. So
let's just hope there's not another one, but it's not over.
But you know, to ensure peace, we have to be strong.
Exactly.
So, you know,
exactly right.
That's why we need a strong military and make sure we're trained and equipped and all that. So, I'm proud of the military. I'm proud to have served, and I'm proud that my family members have served in some capacity. And now that I'm a civilian working for the military,
I consider it my honor. I was a draftee, which meant I was kind of waiting until the last minute. But I got the letter and I did what I had to do and should do, the right thing to do. And I'm glad that I did. And hindsight, we all know what that is. But had I been a brighter young man, I would have stayed. But at the time, married and all that, it's like, nope, let me get home, let me get out, let me get to work. And but no, I cherished the time, and it was my honor to do a little bit of a job. And it takes everybody.
It does. A great story here. I'm regressing back to World War II, but my grandmother in the 40s went across the United States in a covered wagon to go work in the shipyards in California.
In a covered wagon?
In a covered wagon.
A Conestoga?
She couldn't afford a car.
Wow.
And so I remember asking her, you went in a wagon? Where'd you stay? She goes, we would stop and sleep under the trees, and but she thought it was important to get out there and serve her country working in the shipyards.
What a great story.
My dad had already left. He was 15 at the time. He joined the Merchant Marines, and so it was just her and her husband. They didn't have any other kids, and so she's like, I'm going to go help. And that's what she did. It took her a long time to get out there, but she got out there and worked in the shipyards in California. And I wish,
sounds like a book.
She's been gone 16 years now, but I wish I would have talked to her more about that and learned more about it. But,
wow, what a story. That's fabulous. Fabulous. Yeah. I think there's a book in there. I really do. Yeah. A book that people would love to read. Yeah.
But you see people with that passion still today, though. And I think like Linda portrays that, and people like you and your organization portray, just want to do better for the community and the military and things.
And that's my whole deal. To whom much is given, much is required. I just want to finish out well, give back. That's all. I don't need attaboys or pats. I don't need any of that. Don't want any of that. If one person is helped by one little thing, it's all worth it. It's all worth it. And saying that, I'll say this real quickly. I don't even know where we're at time-wise, but because my dad used to say I was vaccinated with a Victrola needle. For all you younger generation, there used to be a thing called a record player and a needle. Anyway, ride the grooves. But a young troop, Afghan vet, got a hold of me about trying to help facilitate selling some tickets. Well, I'm like, okay, I don't know. But he had put together this deal about showing Project 22.
I know who you're talking about, Sean.
You know Sean Billy. And he came on the show. Of great. She's a lovely wife, Annie. But in any event, I didn't know then, other than I was just going to try and get word out to help sell these tickets because they had to have 65 sold, blah, blah, blah. I won't go into a big dissertation. So all well and good. And some of the Combat Vets Motorcycle Association actually were in the film. Linda was in the film. I didn't know that. And her son was in the film, Josh. And so as we went and we saw it and all that, I mean, it was a good turnout. And what those young vets are doing, it's necessary, it's vital, because I've already attended 2 of those funerals.
Yeah, that 22 veterans a day commit suicide.
It's called Project 22.
And for various reasons, but it needs more awareness needs to be brought to it, just because, you know, they've served their country. They need to be given the resources to get the help they need and not face that stigma. And so many military members believe that, you know, if I seek help, I'm weak, and that's not the case, you know.
Yeah. Took me a long time to learn that one.
It used to be, suck it up, Buttercup. That was
exactly it. Yeah.
Saying, you know.
Suck it up, Buttercup. Move on. Yeah. You know, and in lieu of that, since that all transpired, there were extra tickets and they sold. And now, Sean sent me a little message that you can get this Project 22 on a video DVD now. And I want to say that the blurb I read said it was either free or $3 for shipping, something like that. But I think it was all free. But in any event, so it's just about, again, getting the word out and vets helping vets. And it was a tremendous thing. We're about to run out of time. Yeah, I know, because I do so much enjoy it when you come out and you share what's going on out at the Navy base with the community and coming out and being on Military Hour. It's an open forum for anyone and anyone. If you see this and you're connected, related, you want to speak on an issue or events coming up, just get a hold of me. That's an easy one, c2deet@gmail.com. And Military Hour on Facebook. You can post up there anything that is positive and geared towards helping vets or their families.
Great.
Because if you put something up there that's not nice, guess what? It won't be there but a minute. Not even that long. In today's nanosecond world, I'll pull it down. But it's open for anybody to post to. So thank you again for coming out.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Always enjoy it. And I want to hear about the book, read about the book, and see if you get that book out of you. Because you got some stories. Military Hour next week, Thursday. Join us.